In this edition of One Play Wednesday, going to take a look at AHMAD GARDNER versus Jamar Chase. I've seen a lot of stats thrown out there. AHMAD GARDNER shut him down. I've seen other people say AHMAD GARDNER gave up so many touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to take a look at three plays that I think kind of encapsulate the matchup, which I think was not as significant to the outcome of the game as a lot of people would make it believe. First of all, if you're first time listening to my channel, I think AHMAD GARDNER is a fantastic football player. I was on record as saying I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 players in the draft. I think his draft position kind of illustrated that. Let's get into the play a little bit. So this nickel safety, which is Michael Carter II, he's given a swipe signal to AHMAD GARDNER. You can see him. I'll let it play back a couple of times, and AHMAD GARDNER is confirming it. And then looking back, what he's telling AHMAD GARDNER is he's going to go ahead and blitz. And because of that, this safety would essentially take over the number 2 receiver, meaning Jamar Chase AHMAD GARDNER is now going to be responsible for any vertical or even a post by Jamar Chase. Essentially, he's telling him, you're solo, you're man to man, you got no help. And you can see it's great design by the Bengals for the coverage. Let's pretend for a moment that they don't know the coverage, but it's great design. They're pulling, Boyd on this little lube route, pulling the safety with him, really isolating that side of the field for Gardner. Gardner is just like a lot of young DBs. Like, he's got all the athletic ability, but then there's times where he's like looking back at the quarterback a little too soon. Like here, look where the ball is. Now, why is he looking back so soon? Well, because sometimes Joe Burrow throws these back shoulder fades, so he's looking back for the ball, not unsure of when the ball is going to arrive. So that's just the diversity of threats and the way that the Bengals attack you has a cumulative effect, if you ask me. He's clearly kind of handsy. I like that. I don't know about you. If you're a Bengals fan, clearly you don't like it. If you're a Jets fan, you do. I like that he's aggressive, that he's non-compromising with going to make physical contact with people. Look at the speed when he turns and goes. Watch the speed. I'll try to pull this back a couple of times so you can see it. When he turns and goes, he can run right with Jamar Chase. Now, he does have to grab him a little bit right here to kind of try to keep up once he turns his head. From the context of this play, yeah, he's turned his head too soon. But again, he doesn't know if this ball is going to be possibly thrown to this outside shoulder a little bit sooner than he's looking for it. And so in his mind, he thinks he's got to turn his head. As it is a great challenge at the end. I've seen still pictures of this, like it was interference, it was this, it was that. Whatever you think it was is a great play by AHMAD GARDNER. Jamar Chase didn't seem bothered by it. He got right back up. Let's get ready for the next play. Touchdown to Jamar Chase. Multiple things to say about this play. First of all, good for the Bengals that they got a win, right? Number one. Number two, good that they avenged that upset loss last year. And then one thing to say about the Jets defense and Gardner, like someone's wrong here. Someone's wrong here. You've got the free safety who is looking to the trip side of the formation. You clearly got man, man, and man. So someone is wrong over here. Now, just because they're playing man over on this side doesn't mean that this should be straight man. It's split field coverage, so they're going to make different calls on different sides of the field. So it's possible that these guys made a man call. Stay with your man no matter what. And then it's possible that a Gardner thinks that they made a switch call. So on this inside release, that the safety would take him, and then on this flat route, AHMAD GARDNER would take him. If you've watched any of my videos or you've been paying attention to the Jets at all, you know that AHMAD GARDNER has made plays or made himself available in the flats on concepts like this down near the goal line. Another thing to mention is this is not sustainable from a Bengals standpoint, not the throwing to Jamar Chase thing or Joe Burrow delivering a quick, timely pass. Those guys can do that all day. It's not sustainable to continue to allow him to take these shots on, to me, what appears to be a 5-man rush. You should be able to at least, get a hat on a hat here, and they do not. And Carl Lawson, he really could have done damage to Joe Burrow from the backside there. In my opinion, there's got to be a refocus on trying to protect this man because he's such a big part of what they do. So whose fault is it down here? Gardner, the linebacker? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But if you look at the matchups wise, I'm not sure that you really want this linebacker taking over Jamar Chase on something like this, and then Gardner switching out on the running back. With these guys appearing to make a man call up to this side, in my opinion, I would venture to say it looks like AHMAD GARDNER released him, thought they were going to switch it. Some people would say zone it off. And 58, Williams, thought that they were going to play straight man. All right, third and final play from this little matchup. I will have a longer video. The reason I've got this video saved is I'm in the middle of a video talking about young DBs, young corners struggling in the NFL right now. giving up big plays, but particularly giving up plays in the intermediate areas of the field. All right, like I said, last play, this is going to be a touchdown to Perrine late on a scramble. There's Jamar Chase. There is AHMAD Gardner. He's going to like zone this off, almost like cover two. You can see he gets outside position, his back and butt to the sideline, eyes back in on the quarterback. He's releasing Chase here to the safety. Sticks with him on the outside leverage, which is wonderful stuff. They're getting a little bit of pressure on Burrow. The pocket is okay, but he feels like he's got the opportunity and the need to scramble out here to the left. This is the part where AHMAD Gardner looks less comfortable than I've ever seen him. Unsure of where to go. To me, all zone becomes man at some point, and he went up on Perrine, and once this is a problem. Once he saw this other Jets defender there, he assumed that that guy was going to take him over. So I think AHMAD Gardner's an incredibly aware football player. Super smart guy, if you ask me, just from watching the film. And in this case, it kind of works against him because he releases Perrine to that other defender, and then you see that other defender comes forward. Gardner drops back. This other defender comes forward to challenge Burrow because he thinks Burrow's going to get outside the pocket. He doesn't think Quinnen Williams is going to, be able to catch up to him or force him out of bounds. And what it does is it leaves a vacated space between those two. There's Gardner. There is that aforementioned linebacker or second-level player. And Perrine is able to make the touchdown catch, on a 3rd and goal from the 12. Difficult for me to judge AHMAD Gardner harshly on those last 2 plays, but let's talk about it from 2 different standpoints. Physically, he's capable of defending all the guys that he was asked to defend. It looks like to me you had a pre-snap miscommunication between him and the linebacker. It's someone's fault, either Gardner's or the linebacker, Williams. And then on the 3rd and final play, post-snap, I think AHMAD Gardner's tremendous intelligence and awareness kind of worked against him. He recognized, there's a player here. I don't need to cover Perrine, and I know I've got Jamar Chase behind me with our safety. Let me drop back and help there. Once he drops back, Perrine slips into the open space. Kind of a random play. Give credit to Perrine, give credit to Burrow, finding the open space. But my point is, I don't think you can really judge based on these 3 plays, quote, who won that matchup. That's not the kind of analysis you're going to get from this channel anyway, for real, ever. There are other people who are going to say such things, like I saw one that was 10 targets to Jamar Chase, and AHMAD Gardner only allowed 1 catch. I don't know that that's accurate, at least from the film that we're seeing. Absent knowing the coverage calls, absent knowing the split field calls on that second play that I showed you, where it was clearly man to the top side, it looked like Gardner thought they were going to zone it off to the bottom. In my opinion, if I had to make a judgment, I would say Gardner probably messed that coverage up. I would have been interested to see him play that slant by Chase, see if he could defend it, particularly with the pressure that was coming off the edge by Carl Lawson so quickly and so violently. Let me know what you think of my first edition of One Play Wednesday for Week 3. Obviously, I've kind of expanded it to more than 1 play, and I'm a little over time here. I would prefer that these end up being 5 to 6 minutes. Let me know what you think of my breakdown, what you think of the concept idea that I've done here with a DB versus a receiver in Week 3.